In today's video, I'll show you how to make the following hi-hats. To do this, start with any voice at all, could be dialogue or vocals for a song. Here's the voiceover from my previous video. In today's excellent video, a beautiful idea. And here's the trick. Use a de-esser and output the S's only. So instead of reducing the S sounds, the sibilants, the S noises, we output them, in this case using iZotope RX. And whilst I could use RX directly in Ableton using a plugin, in practice I normally do it first in RX. Mainly because you can actually batch process things with it. So I could drag and drop an entire folder full of vocals or dialogue into RX, and then de-ess the entire lot, or output the S's for the entire lot all at once. And that's exactly what I did when creating human hi-hats. So here we have the outputted S's. Let's export this and bring it into Ableton to chop it up. When moving files between DAWs, make sure to export as 32-bit floating point. You can think of this as full or 100% maximum quality. Maybe in a later video I explain what all this means, bit depth being dynamic range, effectively. Boink. And here we have the outputted S's alongside the original. Very important stuff. Make sure you color code things with exciting colors. Oh, marvelous. That's an important step. And let's make this waveform bigger so it's easier to see. To do this, we will use consolidate. Notice before we consolidate, the clip gain is 0. If we then consolidate, it's worth learning this shortcut, Command J, or simply right click consolidate if you can't remember that. See how clip gain is now at around -15, but we haven't changed the level of the audio in the project itself. Ableton has created a new audio file peaking at exactly 0 dB, which means if we set clip gain to 0, we now have a perfectly normalized audio file. Normalized by definition, meaning peaking at 0 dB, making things easier to see. So here are the outputted S's. Some amazing sounds, but of course they aren't all perfect. We have to go through and pick our favorites, which can take quite a bit of time if you have a long audio file. Here's another shortcut to learn. Command 4 in Ableton, Command E to split. At this stage I'm simply choosing the sounds. I'll tighten them up afterwards. These little things great for drum loops, even if they aren't hi-hats specifically. There's an airplane outside. So much nicer than filtered white noise. So now we have all of these. Each of these a lovely hi-hat, or maybe more of a percussive hit in some cases, a percussive one-shot. Things great for drum loops now. The next step would be to trim the front of each clip, something like this for each clip, and then applying a bit of a fade to fade out the end of it somehow. And in case you're wondering, I'm scrolling sideways by using the scroll wheel and holding Shift. Whee! Oh, went too far. Now I've trimmed everything, let's turn each of these into audio files, normalized audio files, so we can work with them in the future. And the quickest way to do that is again to consolidate. Oh, I probably should have said this earlier. Hop into preferences and take a note of this record bit depth. This is the bit depth Ableton consolidates to. As I say, I'll explain the difference properly in a later video, but if in doubt, 32. It's all to do with dynamic range. And this is where the shortcut really comes in handy. Click Command J, click Command J, click Command J. Consolidating each of these clips as a brand new audio file. Now that we've consolidated these, you can find those audio files by doing right click, show in Finder, or I suppose it'll say something different if you're on a PC. It will say this on a PC. I'm on a Mac, so it says Show in Finder. Then let's make this bigger. Sort by kind, so we can look at the WAVs specifically. And here are our consolidated hi-hats as normalized WAV files. New hi-hats. Paste. Batch rename. Using Finder. New hi-hats. And there we go. Normalized hi-hats, 34 of them. Absolutely beautiful, and that was from only 4.5 minutes roughly of dialogue. Naturally, different rooms, different microphones, different voices, different vocal styles will give different types of hi-hats. Here are some from human hi-hats. It's a delightful technique. Now, you may be wondering, can I use other plugins? Maybe FabFilter's Pro DS, outputting the S's with this headphone button. Yes, in theory you can do this technique with other tools, but at least from my testing it works by far the best using iZotope RX's de-esser using the default preset rather than Spectral. And to get the de-esser you'll need at least the standard version. It's included in RX Pro 2, iZotope's new subscription model. Yes, $20 a month or $200 a year. And students get 50% off. All is my pack for $17, 309 of these things. The sounds have this human edge that I absolutely love. It's a beautiful thing. Most excellent.